Well, here at the Demand Center, we study the social dynamics of energy, mobility, and demand. And some of the really exciting insights, I think, from what we've developed in the last few years come from the unique kinds of questions that inform our research.
It's held together by an enduring and overarching set of questions about what energy is for, how it is part of society, how demand is constituted, where it comes from. And that's not just about questions of consumption and efficiency and so on, it's the underlying dynamics, the underlying processes.
Well, we start from the position that energy isn't just used for the sake of it. People use energy as a part of their daily life, so at home, at work, in moving around, and that has consequences for what we then focus on in our research.
This means that you will go and look at social practices and try and understand how energy demand is a consequence of how social practices are being accomplished.
So some of our research is focused on household practices like laundry, in order to understand more about their timing during the day and week, how this has changed over time, and what the implications are for energy demand. We've also learned a lot about the living, breathing dynamics of energy demand. So we've analyzed what activities come before and after the use of the car, for example, and that allows us to provide new insights about what practices and systems car driving is dependent upon. So while our research often starts from these kinds of everyday practices, it doesn't stop there. It's not just the appearance of appliances in the home that's important for energy demand. Our research has really shown that technologies like home heating systems have transformed meanings of comfort, care, and convenience. So similarly, appliances like fridge freezers matter for shopping patterns and for everyday diets in all different kinds of countries around the world. So increases or reductions in energy demand then aren't just affected by these appliances being there. They're interlinked with systems of provision, everyday practices, and changing meanings of things like health and comfort. So our research is really interested in what happens both inside and outside the household. So by asking these questions, demand research has really been able to identify how institutional rhythms generate patterns of demand. So for example, it's shown that the scheduling of working arrangements in hospitals matter greatly for peak demand, and also could offer us new potentials for change.
The main thing is a kind of understanding more systemically how society is changing and what that means for energy demand.
It's asking questions about, well, how do certain institutions within society operate? What is technology? How does it change? How does society change over time? How do infrastructures relate to those processes of change?
So any chance of really meeting carbon budgets depends on a much more ambitious kind of agenda, and we're pointing the way to that. That's really fundamental. That's a really important contribution, I think.
We're actually talking directly to people in the policy world. And so some of the outputs from our project on office design have fed into recommendations for the British Council for Officers as to their guidelines which kind of govern the whole of the office building industry.
The Demand Centre for me has opened up a whole new set of questions and a whole new field of research to address the issue of energy demand.